Good morning and welcome to the groundbreaking ceremony for the Franklin Fire Station substation. Station number 2 to be located here at the corner of King and Upper Union Streets. I'm Michael Boynton, the Vice Chairman of the Franklin Fire Station Building Committee, and I'll be your host for this morning's under 3-hour ceremony. Actually, we'll try to keep it as brief as possible for you considering the heat. The Chief ordered the heat especially for today's event.
Careful.
Especially want to thank.
I don't live at home with my mother.
We especially want to thank EMC Corporation for their generosity and cooperation in today's event, providing the refreshments that we have here. Help yourself after we're done, by all means. And also for their cooperation and participation in the design and preparation of this project. They've been a tremendous help, and a big thank you to EMC Corporation. I want to introduce the committee, the building committee at this point in time. Chairman of the committee is Jack, also Town Council Vice Chairman. Past committee chairman, to my right, Mark Brady. Tim Hurtlebrink, also a former town councilor. Doug Bizanti. George Cody, lieutenant on the fire department. Steve Sims, firefighter and EMT in the department. And Chief Hoyle, also pitching in occasionally.
Strike 2. Non-voting member.
Non-voting member. There was a reason behind that. Also a few VIPs in the audience. Town Councilor Kathy Griffin is also here, in addition to Council Chairman Bob Valley. From the Finance Committee, Julia Renzi, Chairman of the FinCom, Ken Norman, and John Gilliard, also here from the FinCom. Andy Spezzano, representing Franklin Industrial Park. We also have some chiefs from other communities that are present. Chief from Bellingham, Chief Ranieri, Chief Minton from Medway. We have Chief Boswell from Foxborough. This is Chief Boswell.
Second Vice President of the Mass Fire Chiefs Club.
And still the proud home of the New England Patriots.
And Deputy Chief Toohey from the Milford Fire Department is also here in attendance. And I'm sure you can see there are many other dignitaries and town officials here. We thank you all for coming this morning to help us kick off this rather long but very rewarding process. This process really started in 1993 with the creation of the EMS Fire Services Committee. That committee made 14 recommendations to the town council, and one of them was that a separate committee be formed to investigate possible expansion of future facilities, additional facilities for the Franklin Fire Department. A need had been determined by that committee that it needed to be investigated further. Then the Fire Building Expansion Committee was formed. Jack McCarthy was the chairman of that committee, and a 3-station phased construction plan was presented to the council. The South Station, followed by a North Station, and finally a new central headquarters station would be phased in over a number of years for the Franklin Fire Department. The plan that you're standing on is the first of the 3-phase plan. It is the South Station. In 1997, the committee retained the Carell Group of Hopkinton as the new station's architect, and in 1998, the Franklin Town Council authorized $1.9 million to build this new facility. Just within the last month, the town has awarded the construction contract to Berkshire Construction Company of Rhode Island. The station will be a 4-bay drive-through design station, will provide living quarters for on-duty personnel, much-needed office space for training and support services, and will include a meeting and conference room for fire department training, as well as public meetings. It is designed as a substation and will be at the current headquarters facility in the center of town. It's been a long time in the making. However, today represents the hard work and cooperation of all involved, and it truly has been a cooperative event, and I'm sure Jack will expound a little bit on that. One last comment, having been involved with this since 1993, we have resisted several times Connecticut Governor John Rowland's attempts to move the fire department to Connecticut and build a new facility in Hartford. So we're very happy to get this going here today. And with that, I'll turn it over to a good friend and committee chairman, Jack McCarthy. Thank you, Mike.
This is truly an exciting day for our community. This is an end of a long process that Mike had mentioned, but it's important for everyone gathered here to know, and everyone in our community, and this is going to be televised later on, that we wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for Mike's vision several years ago. And I was one of the converts early on as we tried to understand the real need for the fire department and understand exactly what the needs were in our community. And as we got further into the process and saw the hard work that Mike had done in an earlier committee and evolved into the committee that we were involved in, that's where some true partnerships evolved within the community. And I will tell you that this committee has been together for a few years, worked very hard. We disagreed on some issues, but we always found a common way to move forward. And it's been a wonderful committee to work with, and gave us the ability to move forward with clear directives that from the council on through the other committees within town, we needed to get approval. And there are members of the committees here. We have, as Mike had mentioned, members of the FinCom. We have members of the planning board that were very helpful in making sure that we did this right, but we kept the project on. Because we're at a critical stage with the growth that we had in this community to build a facility of this nature. So along with the boards and a majority of the council, we decided to move forward with this project, and I'm very proud of being a part of it. And most importantly, I'm proud of the work of our fire chief. This has been an education for our community also, to understand response times and maybe to articulate the specifics of why a station was needed here. Because when we looked at where we were going to put it, we were not looking at the town of Franklin. We were looking at the area, the surrounding area. That's why it's interesting that we have some of our other chiefs here to recognize that this is a facility that'll be here for a long, long time. And when you erase the borders between the towns, as we ought to do more often, we recognize that this is going to be a facility that's going to help other towns as they helped us, as been great partners in the past. There are, again, more partnerships that have been wonderful. And last but not least, the partnerships within the business community. EMC came up at the very end and helped us with some very significant issues to deal with the land itself in terms of drainage and things of that nature. And I thank EMC enormously, because I think we would have been back to the drawing board, may attach 1 or 2 more years onto the project, may not even have been here if that had happened. So they're, again, a great partner and someone that's helped us tremendously. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it back to Mike.
Our next speaker is our town administrator, Ron Owens. I should be able to say that a little easier. Ron is completing his first year here in Franklin, and he has been a tremendous benefit to us and assistance in trying to bridge a few troubling gaps that occurred late last year. We have bridged those through Ron's efforts and his assistance. I'm Ron Owens, our town administrator.
Good morning. This is obviously the first major capital project I've been involved in since I've been administrator here in Franklin, and I came in midstream of this, but I was impressed from the very beginning, and very impressed today with the work of the committee. The committee's done an excellent job of bringing this all together and making it happen. Something like this just doesn't happen. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort and a lot of vision, and it's a partnership of many different agencies and individuals. And this is the fire department's day, and so we're concentrating on the fire department, but there are a lot of other individuals within the town organization that also helps make this possible. And we have David Roach and Brenda Sampson from the building office, building commissioner's department. They'll be overseeing the construction here. In the background is Public Works, the fire department, the police department, the health department, all of these agencies are in the background helping make all this happen. And Al Green standing over here thinking, geez, but I'm not going to get any taxes out of this from the assessor's office. But Al has an interest in this, as we all do. And I think today, from my perspective, we talk a lot about the history and how we've gotten to this point, but I think in large measure, it's a statement about where we're going in the future. And this is a step in that direction and bringing us into the next century. So I think I'm very proud of what we have here today, and I know that you'll all be proud when you see this facility constructed on this site, because it's going to be a very important addition. It's going to be an attractive structure, and it's going to be a very important part of our service to the community. And as Michael said, this and Jack echoed, this is the second of a three-pronged program, and we already underway that's looking at a station in the north part of town. So perhaps in the next several years we'll be looking at another dedication for the North Station. Charlie Mucciarone, the treasurer collector, also, he doesn't get any benefit out of this, but he does look quite handsome today standing there. But more importantly, all of this really involves the town council. And I'm glad to see Kathy and Bob and Jack here today, because they are the ones that really make this possible. They put the money in place, they support the vision that the committee had, and moved it forward. And so we owe them a big thanks for their efforts, for their commitment, and for their dedication and appropriation of the funds. And so we move on with the dedication, Michael.
At this time, I'd like to call upon Town Council Chairman Bob Valley to offer a few remarks. And this is one of those names that we weren't sure which to put in when we were making up the programs. But, okay, enough of that. Actually, Bob Valley.
I just want to say I'm very proud to be part of the council to make this possible. I mean, I've always been a strong supporter of the fire department. It's only through a lot of political manipulation and a strong lobby from the fire department that this finally was able to be materialized. And I look forward to the groundbreaking, so not the groundbreaking, but the opening ceremony in early spring, hopefully. Thank you very much.
Just to expound on that, Bob has always been there for the committees that have been present. He's been a true supporter of this project from day one, and a big thank you to Bob for all of his efforts in helping guide this thing forward. At this time, I'm going to take a slight deviation from the program. We have a special presentation. Shirley Quello from Congressman Jim McGovern's office will present a flag that will be flown at the new station. Presented to Chief Hoyle. Or actually, presented to Jack McCarty.
Bob, you want?
All three of them.
Yeah, see, this wasn't on the program.
Smoothly rehearsed.
Yes.
It's 5 by 8, so you have to have a very large pole. But that
Where's
should
our
be-
architect?
First thing to go.
There you go, back to zoning again.
Back to zoning.
Go back to where it is. That's beautiful. Thank you very much.
Since he's standing here, I would like to turn the mic over to Chief Keith Hoyle. And it's, for me, it's a bittersweet time, because as everyone knows, Keith has, yeah, thank you. Keith has taken the position of Amherst Fire Chief. He's been chosen and has accepted the position and will be leaving us in July. And Keith has been here for just about 5 years. And in that 5 years, I don't think anyone could dispute the work that Keith Hoyle has done with the Franklin Fire Department in making that a truly professional organization. Not that the professionalism wasn't always there, but Keith has really stepped forward and helped out all of the men. And in recognition of that, all of the firefighters are here today as a sign of their support and their dedication to the department. And again, I'm going to miss Chief Hoyle. He's been a very close friend, and I'm sure that we'll stay in close contact. But Keith Hoyle on a few remarks, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Oh, it's the wrong town. Sorry, I thought we were at Sutton. Although I did hear that when there is a change in the charter, you will be the first one to put your papers in. Where's the deputy chief? Put the deputy chief up here. He's my right-hand person. What I'm holding here is a book of rules and regulations, Franklin Fire Department, 1911. There were 6 fire stations in Franklin in 1911. And shortly thereafter, the department started to modernize and equip itself with motorized apparatus. And we were finally down to only 1 station, which is where we have it now on West Central Street, on a one-way street, no less. Going the wrong way, right. So this modern facility will greatly enhance the ability of the men and women of the Franklin Fire Department to deliver emergency services more quickly to our citizens. And I believe that Chief Connor Pond in 1950 was the first fire chief to really start espousing a couple of substations, one to the south, one to the north. Pond, I know you're looking down on us today, and this is the beginning of the realization of your dream. I guess I need to thank some people and some committees. The first one, of course, is the building committee, a labor of love at times, and at other times, not so much love. For 4 years, they worked at this. Very daunting task sometimes it seemed impossible. But together we were able to make it happen. Also some town departments and some committees that helped us out. Building department, planning, DPW, conservation. The comptroller, I guess, who was able to secure us a very good loan rate, right, Jerry? And then beyond that, of course, we have our architect who designed us a magnificent building. Greg, I guess we're going to hear from Greg next. Also, we have our town administrator who told us just to keep the faith, keep plugging along, even when the detours and the roadblocks came, and we thank you for that, Ron. Also, the town council. I think the town council was mentioned, and I think we went before 3 town councils, didn't we? 3 town councils to make this project happen. The finance committee, we went through a couple of finance committees, and they always were there for us. They gave us unanimous votes every time we needed something, and we appreciate that. I probably would be remiss if I didn't mention Councilor Cummings, because actually it was his courage to switch his vote and switch his opinion on the station, which really made the thing move forward. Otherwise, we might not be here today. And last but not least, I'd like to salute the men and women of the Franklin Fire Department, because it's this facility that will enable them to more rapidly respond in a professional and quality manner to our citizens to deliver fire safety and emergency medical services. So I thank you.
You can be sure that Chief Oil will be invited back here when we have our ceremony next year for the actual opening and dedication. At this time, I'll ask firefighter EMT Bob Tucci to come forward. Bob is the president of Local 2637 of the IA. What is that? IAFF. Oh, International Association of Firefighters.
You know what? There goes your parking place in front of the
Absolutely.
You're out back.
Bob is here to address the gathering, and again, it speaks to the dedication and the involvement and partnership of the firefighters throughout this project. Bob Tucci.
Thank you. I don't have much to say. On behalf of Local 2637, I'd like to thank the Fire Station Committee for never quitting. I'd like to thank our good friend Ron Owens, who we negotiate with now. The Town Council, the good people of Franklin, and also finally Chief Hoyle, not only for the job he did on the station, but for the progress he's done in the last 5 years. I just want to say good luck. We're going to miss you. Thank you.
As I said, in 1997, the town retained the Correll Group from Hopkinton as the architect for this station. The Correll Group has designed and overseen construction of fire stations in Medway, in Orleans, Sudbury, and most recently they've completed a fantastic renovation reconstruction project of the Hopkinton Fire Headquarters. They've done a fantastic job for us to this point on the design and preparing the construction bids. At this time, Greg Correll.
I'll be brief. The goal of the station
was to provide a functional building that would meet the needs of the fire department and the public safety needs of the town of Franklin. It needed to be economical, and it needed to be a building that the town would be proud of. I think we've accomplished that goal. And the reason we've accomplished that goal was because we had a building committee that was committed, that was completely involved in the project throughout, made our job much easier. We had a fire department that was very clear about what they wanted and what they needed, and shared with us and worked with us to tailor a building that was specific to those needs. And finally, the town itself, the town government, town council, and all the people that got behind this project that made it happen. It's something that I think everybody, certainly our office, is very proud of. And I'd like to quickly acknowledge the staff office who worked very hard on this. Jerry, Meg, Terry, and Frank, who isn't here today, for the just tremendous effort that was put in there. Thank you very much.
Our next two speakers really need no introduction. They are very special individuals to the town of Franklin, and in fact to their entire districts. They represent us in the General Court of Massachusetts, and they're always there for us. They've been there from every step, from step A to step Z throughout this project, and I'm certain they will continue to be there. First off, I would like to introduce Senator David Mignani.
Thank you, Michael. Listen, I've got another job for Michael. Now that he's finished this, we're now going to have Michael negotiate the power agreement between Bellingham and Franklin. What do you say? Can you take that one on?
That means he has to deal with me.
There you go. You can do that. No, it's actually nice to see that, particularly the firefighters. I was talking to Stephen Joe earlier about the fact that mutual aid works remarkably well from the surrounding towns, and this is just an example of how committed to that cooperation the town of Franklin is. I'm particularly impressed by the design, by the way. I noticed, Chief, you got 8 bunks and 4 staff. That's impressive. And 1 fitness room. Which one's going to get the most use, do you think?
The
fitness room. There you go. Fact of the matter is, this is more than anything for the folks who live here, for the folks who live in this quarter. As we know, this is the most rapidly growing part of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and in fact, the most rapidly growing part of New England. Right here, we're dead center. And without this kind of facility, we really aren't responding to the real needs of the residents of these communities, nor can we really accommodate the future growth in an appropriate way. So I want to thank certainly the building committee and certainly the council for the initiative that they've taken. I also want to say that for the residents of Franklin, this is really for you, and for the residents of Bellingham and surrounding towns, this is really for you. This is an initiative that is taken to make sure that your homes and factories are protected. I am filing legislation this year, by the way, that would require the insurance companies to provide a considerably lower rate of insurance when you reduce the response time. They're telling us that they do that, but in fact, when you look at the numbers, it's a very small margin that they give for decreasing response time. And clearly, our insurance rates ought to reflect the fact that this is significantly increasing the fire safety and actually the public safety for the folks in this region, and we hope we'll get some insurance benefits from it. Thanks again for having me this morning and for taking this initiative, Jack.
Certainly not least is Franklin's own Jim Valley. Jim has represented the town now for several years in the House of Representatives. And again, Jim was with us as this project got going, and he was there to help us, to provide for some lobbying, and also work very hard at the state level to ensure that projects of this nature start to receive some attention.
Is a monument to the fire service in the town. And I also want to commend the men and women of the Franklin Fire Service that actually have been working under very difficult conditions. They've been providing a tremendous level of service to the community from basically a postage stamp station. Franklin's a huge land area for those of you who are visiting us from out of town. And Franklin's been forced to work under very difficult, Franklin Fire Service has been forced to work under very difficult conditions. And I just want to say you've done a tremendous job. And believe me, you'd hear about it if you didn't. So I just want to commend you for the work you've been doing and the volunteers as well. I also want to committee. I think they've done a wonderful job. It's definitely a testament to the tenacity of the members of the committee. And Jack McCarthy wrote me into a cup of coffee a couple of years ago just to sit down with me and tell me a little bit about the committee and what they were doing and the impasse that existed at that time. And I'm pleased to say you don't often hear about the positive aspects of local government and town government. It's really a testament to the councilors that supported this project, because they crossed all sorts of lines to get together on this. And I believe I also saw Councilor Frank Cummings come in earlier. I don't know if he was recognized, but Frank has given quite a number of years to the fire service himself and was one of the leaders on this issue as well, so I just want to make sure he gets recognized. Thank you again for having me. I look forward to seeing this building go up. It's always a good time when you see buildings like this built in your community, because often we don't take advantage of the good economy and the tax revenues that are coming in. So I think this is wisely spent tax money, and I'm proud and honored to be here today. Thank you.
So this concludes our presentation, our ceremony this morning. But again, I personally would like to thank this committee for their hard work and their dedication. Also Chief Hoyle, again, and the Franklin Town Council for stepping forward and funding this project last year. Rest assured that this committee will continue to work hard as we put bricks and mortar together, and we'll be back here sometime next March, hopefully, for the grand opening, and you're all invited back. Thank you again for coming down this morning. Again, there are refreshments along the side here. Please help yourselves. We have doggy bags available. We actually have the last presentation, the real groundbreaking. We're going to take a couple of pictures now.
Ready, set, 1, 2, all right, somebody give the dig sign. All right, dig it. Come on, dig. You broke it.
Let's go, we got 2 feet. We can finish it all up.
Why don't you your account? I can just direct deposit.
Yeah, there you go. I'm Julio Renzi.
Dave. Oh, yeah? All of us?